Though I was originally to give this to y'all earlier this week, but decided to postpone because I wasn't sure if I was going to see it remake or not, but I guess I'm going to give it to you right now. So here's my review of the original version of The Color Purple. Bad days! Entertainment rankings and reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1985 coming-of-age period drama flick, The Color Purple, released by Warner Bros. And directed by Steven Spielberg. Written by Menno Meyjes, based on the Pulitzer Prize 1982 novel the same name by Alice Walker. It was Spielberg's eighth film as director, marking a turning point in his career as it was a departure from the summer blockbusters for which he had become known. It was also the first feature film that Spielberg directed for which John Williams did not compose the music. It instead features a score by Quincy Jones, who had worked with Michael Jackson and several other artists, who also produced. The film stars Whoopi Goldberg in her first film, along with Danny Glover, Oprah Winfrey, also in her film debut, Margaret Avery, and Adolph Caesar. The film was released December 18th, 1985, and did pretty well in what have you, and was nominated for numerous awards. However, despite its success, the film was a source of controversy, with many criticizing the film for its negative depiction of African American males who are all shown as brutally violent, and was also criticized by some for being over sentimental and stereotypical. But anyway, let's not get into all that stuff. Let's get into the story. The story revolves around the life of Celie Harris in early 20th century rural Hartwell, Georgia. She is a teenage African American girl who is brutally raped and abused by her father. She secretly gives birth to two of his children. After the births, the father quickly takes them from Celie and gives them away. She shares a strong bond with her youngest sister Nettie as they play and learn the alphabet together. Albert Mr. Johnson, a widower, initially wants to marry Nettie, but her father refuses to give away Nettie to Mr. due to his own sexual attraction to her. Celia is instead forced to marry Mr., who abuses her. One day, Nettie runs away from home because she is tired of fighting off her father's sexual advances and seeks shelter with Celie, where the two promise to write if they are separated. One day, walking to school, Mr. attempts to rape Nettie and she fights him off and he fiercely kicks her out of the house. As she leaves, Nettie promises to fulfill the promise she and Celie made. Years later, in 1916, Celie has grown meek from prolonged childhood abuse. Mr. Son Harpo marries an assertive woman named Sophia. Celie envies Sophia's self confidence and advises Harpo to be her, but she fights back and confronts Celie, revealing her long history of abuse. She threatens to kill Harpo if he beats her again and tells Celie to do likewise to Mr. After years of constant abuse by Harpo, Sophia leaves and takes their children. Mr. and Harpo bring home the ailing Shug Avery, a showgirl and Mr.'s longtime mistress. Celie, who has slowly developed a fondness for Shug through a photograph sent to Mr., is in awe of Shug's strong will. She nurses Shug back to health, and in turn, Shug takes a liking to her, writing and performing a song about her at Harpo's newly opened juke joint they operate with his girlfriend Squeak. Shug tells Celie she is moving to Memphis, and Celie confides to Shug that Mr. beats her. Shug tells Celie that she is beautiful and that she loves her. And they share a tender moment where they kiss each other, and Celie packs her things to follow Shug to Memphis, but is caught by Mr. Celie and Johnson watch as Shug leaves and Celie passes out on the ground. In town, the mayor's wife, Miss Millie, compliments Sophia on her raising her children and reportedly asks if she wants to work for her. Says hell no, and when the mayor slaps her in the face, she punches him. She's arrested and later imprisoned. 8 years later, she is released. A shell of her former self and immediately ordered by the judge to become Miss Millie's maid, Miss Millie agrees to let Sophia spend Christmas with her children. As she drives out, Miss Millie has trouble putting her car in gear and gets startled by the black men who try to assist her. Frightened, she asks Sophia to drive her home. Shug returns to Celia and Mister's home with her new husband Grady in town on business. Grady and Mister become intoxicated while Shug checks the mailbox. She finds a letter from Celia's sister in Africa. Shug gives Celia the letter from Nanny, who tells her that she is working for a couple who adopted Celia's children. Celia and Shug realize that Mister has been hiding Nettie's letters from Celia. While he and Grady are out drinking, Shug and Celia search the house, finding a hidden compartment under the floorboards containing bundles of Nettie's unread letters. Now I'll go to the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below. Fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Engrossed in reading, Celie does not hear Mister's calls to shave him, and he slaps her. Celie sets her mind to kill Mister with his straight razor, but Shug stops her. At a family gathering, Celie finally speaks up against Mister and his years of abuse, to the delight of Shug. This fighting spirit also brings back Sophia's old self and prompts Squeak to insist on men using her real name, Mary Agnes. Celie responds to Mister's taunts with a curse on him. Shug and Grady drive away, taking Celie and Mary with them. Years later, Shug reunites with her father, who is a pastor, after years of estrangement because of his disapproval of the life path she chose. Mister has become a lonely drunk and let his home and farm fall into ruin. Harpo has made amends with Sophia. They now run the bar together, and Shug still performs there when she comes to town. Upon Celie's father's passing, she finally learns from Nay's letters that he was not their biological father after all. When their mother died, his property was legally inherited by Celia and Nettie, and the home and shop that had belonged to her biological father passed to Celia. Celia begins to operate a tailor shop. Mister receives a letter from the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service addressed to Celia, takes money from his secret stash, and arranges for Nettie and her family, including Celia's children, to return from the U.S. from Africa. While Mister watches from a distance, Celie, Nettie, and the children reunite, and the two sisters bond over a hand clapping game from their childhood. End of story. So, what did I think of the color purple? Well, I am going to say, well, I've only seen it a few times. I will say that after revisiting it for the first time in years, I am going to say it is a good film and what have you. One of the many great coming of age films and what have you. I do seem to recall they played some of this in my history class when I was in, I think, maybe high school, but I could be wrong though. But that was a long time ago. But anyway, I think this was still a very good film. Now, the score from Quincy Jones was absolutely good. Can't go wrong with that. Now, even after it was released, the film was also criticized by others, including civil rights activist Jesse Jackson and author James Baldwin, and was boycotted by the NAACP for its depiction of rape and for reinforcing negative stereotypes towards black men. Yikes. Anyway, the film was such a big success, it made 98 million worldwide. In terms of box office income, it ranked as the number one PG-13 rated film released in 1985 and number 4 overall. The film holds an approval at 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying It might have been better served by a filmmaker with a deeper connection to the source material, but the film remains a worthy, well acted adaptation of Alice Walker's classic novel. Roger Ebert gave it a good score, calling it the year's best film, and praised Whoopi Goldberg, calling her role one of the most amazing debut performances in movie history, and predicted she would win the Academy Award for Best Actress, but unfortunately she lost to Geraldine Page for The Trip to Bountiful. Nevertheless, here's what he wrote about the film. The world of Celie and the others is created so forcibly in this movie that their corner of the South becomes one of those movie places like Oz, Tara, Casablanca that lay claim to their own geography in our imaginations. The affirmation at the end of the film is so joyous that this is one of the few movies in a long time that inspires tears of happiness and earns them. His longtime television collaborator, Gene Siskel, praised the film as triumphantly emotional and brave and called it Spielberg's successful attempt to enlarge his reputation as a director of youthful entertainment, and wrote that the film was a plea for respect for black women. Although acknowledging that the film was a period drama, he praised its incredibly strong stand against the way black men treat black women. Cruel is too kind a word to describe their behavior. The principal black men in the film used their women, both wives and daughters, as sexual chattel. Let me check out. Excuse me. Janet Maslin of the New York Times noted the film's divergence from Walker's book, but made the case that this shift works. Mr. Spielberg has looked on the sunny side of Miss Walker's novel, fashioning a, a grand multi-hanky entertainment that is as pretty and lavish as the book is plain. If the book is set in the harsh, impoverished atmosphere of rural Georgia, the movie unfolds in a cozy, comfortable, flower-filled wonderland. Some parts of it are rapturous and stirring, others hugely improbable, and the film moves unpredictably from one mode to another. From another director, this might be fatally confusing, but Spielberg's showmanship is still with him. Although the combination of his sensibilities and Miss Walker's amounts to a colossal mismatch, this film manages to have momentum, warmth, and staying power all the same. Variety wrote, there are some great scenes and great performances in the film, but it is not a great film. Spielberg's turn as serious filmmaking is marred in more than one place by overblown production that threatens to drown in its own emotions. That's understandable. Director, or should I say filmmaker, Oliver Stone praised the film, saying it's an excellent movie and it was an attempt with an issue that had been overlooked, and it wouldn't have been done if it hadn't been for Spielberg. And it's not like everyone says that he ruined the book. Well, nobody was going to do the book. He made the book live again. Well, that's all you need to know. I won't get into any of the controversial bits of this, so sorry, won't mention about that. Nevertheless, it still did well. Well, the film premiered in December of '85, but unfortunately, the premiere was picketed by members of the NAACP. The film went into general release in the U.S. On February 7th of the following year, and was also shown at the Cannes Film Festival as a non-competing title that same year. Anyway, it got nominated for 11 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress for both for Avery and Winfrey, Best Adapted Screenplay, but it didn't achieve a win though. It also received 4 Golden Globe nominations, with Goldberg winning Best Actress in a Drama. So anyway, The Color Purple has a pretty good story and has great characters and a great score. For our cast, we have Whoopi Goldberg as, well, the grown-up Celie, while Desiree Jackson played the young version of her. They're both real good. Danny Glover played Mr. Of course, that's Albert Mr. Johnson. He was good. Oprah Winfrey played Sophia. She was good. Margaret Avery played Shug. She was good. Aku- Akusua Busia, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, plays Nay. She was good. Adolph Caesar played Old Mr. Johnson. And Willard Pugh played Harpo, while Howard Starr played the young version of Harpo. Ray Don Chung played Mary Agnes, aka Squeak. We also have some others, including Lawrence Fishburne, Dana Ivey, and several others, and what have you. Yes. And also we had playing Paul Harris was Leonard Jackson. I thought the guy looked familiar because I remembered him from early on in PBS's Shine Time station as Harry, the first class engineer on the show, and Mr. Hanford from Sesame Street later on. So anyway, the original Color Purple, it's still a good film. It, of course, more recently just got an to be there was a musical version that started in 2005 and what have you, and now it's a movie which is now out, and you'll actually get a spoiler-free review of it tomorrow night. So, when everything's said, would I recommend The Color Purple? I would say yes, go for it. Give it a shot. You may like it. So anyway, what did you think of The Color Purple? Let me know in the comment section below. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned for my Saturday morning TV log of the Chattanooga Cats coming up tomorrow morning. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, check out my reviews for these other films from these other three films that came out in the 80s that were big for Spielberg himself. In the upper left hand corner and right hand corner are my reviews of the first two Indiana Jones flicks. The upper right hand corner is my review of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The upper left and the upper right hand corner is my review of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Or if you'd like, go to the bottom left hand corner and see my review of his 1982 classic E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.